Hi everyone, I'm going to be talking about multiplying decimals. So how do we multiply decimals? Well, the simplest way is that we just multiply the numbers that we have. So 7 times 4 gives us 28. Ignoring the decimal points for the moment, now we're going to take note of decimal points. So that 7 was one place in the decimal, so was that. So that's 2 decimal places. So our 28 has got to be moved using place value by 2 decimal places. So if we had 28, divide it by 10, you get 2.8, divide it by another 10, you get 0.28. So 0.28. Now you might be thinking, is that right? How do I know that's right? Well, if you think about it, you've got 0.7, we're going to multiply it by 0.4, which is roughly a half. So we should have roughly a half of 0.7. So it's like, well, we had 70, we want roughly a half of 70, which is 28. It's a little bit below, but 35, yeah. So it's always worth doing that little check to see if you think you've got it right. Okay, so there are some little tricks with multiplying by decimals. So for example, we've had before where we had a rectangle which was 4 centimetres long by 1.5 centimetres wide. We don't really have to worry about the decimals there. We do one, so if we're doing the area, which as you know is length times width, we can just pretend that, or we can just say that it's 4 times 1 and then 4 times a half, which is the same as half of 4. So 4 times 1 is 4, half of 4 is 2, so that area would be 6. If we were going to do it the way I was talking about up there, we would do 4 times 15 equals 60. Then because there was a decimal place in there, one decimal place in the 15, that would be 6.0, or you could just say 6 centimetres squared. Okay, another trick you can do, if you're multiplying by 0.1, 0.1 is the same as 1/10. So basically, if you multiply by a tenth, you're dividing by 10. So say you had 15 times 0.1, you would get 1.5. If you had 17 times 0.1, you'd get 1.7. If you had 842 times 0.1, you would get 84.2. Similarly, if you're multiplying by 0.01, then that's the same, so that's 1/100th. That's the same as dividing by 100. So if you had 400 times 0.01, that would be 4, because 400 divided by 100 is 4. If you had 175 times 0.01, that would be 175 divided by 100 is 1.75. If you had 27 times 0.01, you would end up with, divide 27 by 100 is 0.27. Okay, let's try a few more. So I've already said if you want to multiply by 0.5, for example, 10 times 0.5 is half of 10, which is 5. But doing it another way, our old trusty method, we could say, well, it's 10 times 5, which is 50, but because there was a decimal point in front of that 5, it's divide everything by one decimal place, so that would be 5. Or so, for example, you had 1.2 times 0.3. You could do that as a times table. 12 times 3 is 36. But because there was a one decimal place there, that's 12 divided by 10. That is 3 divided by 10. Our answer is going to be divided by 100. So the answer would be 0.3 0.36. What about if you had 11.72 multiplied by 3.22? You can't really do that in your head, so let's just do it as a column multiplication. Let's not even worry about decimal points for the moment. So we would do 2.2 is 4. 2.7 is, 2 times 2 is 4, 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 1 is 2, add that 1 is 3. 2 times 1 is 2. Right, remember to put our 0 in. So 2 times 2, you may notice it's 2 times that, 2 times that, just displaced. So it's going to be the same number but just pushed to the left. And then we've got our 3 times. Don't forget, because it's 300, we want our 2 zeros. We have a video on column multiplication if you want to have a look how to do this. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 1 is 3, but add 2 is 5. 3 times 1 is 3. Add all that together. 4, 4. So 4, then 8 here. Let's just redo that. So 4 plus 0 is 4. 4 plus 4 plus 0 is 8. 3 plus 4, 7 plus 6 is 13, so carry the 1 there. 5, 6, 7. 2 plus 5 is 7, and then 3. So we've ended up with 377,384. But we'd actually multiplied that by 100 to get rid of those decimal places. We'd also multiplied that by 100. So we've got to take into account 4 decimal places. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So the answer is 37.738. That's a funny 8, isn't it? So 37.7384. Right, how do we know that's right? Maybe I just made up this technique or I made a mistake. Well, roughly, if we estimate, so let's estimate that the nearest whole number is 12. To the nearest whole number, that is 3. 12 times 3 is 36, which is very close to 37.7384. Okay, so let's just do a bit of a summary here. So multiplying decimals, look for the kind of easy way out. So if you're timesing by 0.5, that's halving. Timesing by 0.1, that is dividing by 10. Timesing by 0.01 is dividing by 100. Okay, if none of those can be used, then just think that what you do, you multiply the numbers out as if they were regular numbers. So for example, if you have 3.5, just pretend that's 35. And then if you had 0.2, just pretend that's 2. So 35 times 2 is 70. So we know we've got the right digits in here, 7 and 0. We just don't know exactly the size of the number. So because in order to get 35, we times that by 10, then we times that by 2, by 10, 2 by 0.2 by 10 to get 2. We've multiplied by 10 here. We've multiplied by 10 here, which means we've multiplied by 100. We've got to divide by 100, so that will give us 0.70, or you could just put 0.7. Okay, I'm going to clear the board and then we'll do a test. We'll do 4 test questions. Okay, so first multiplying decimals question is 35 times 0.1. Next question is 57 times 0.01. Next question is 0.9 times 0.5. Next question is 16.3 times 0.2. Okay. Right, hopefully you've had time to work those out, or you've paused the video and then you're going to turn it back on. You've turned it back on because you're ready to go. So 35 times 1 obviously is 35, but there's a 0 point in there, so that's 3.5, or divide that by 10. Right, now we're dividing by 100 because there were 2 decimal places, so that would be 0.57. The next one, if we do 9 times 5, we get 45, but there were 2 decimal places involved, so it's 0.45. This one, 163 times 2, would give us 300, so 32, and then that's a 6, so 326. Then there were 2 decimal places involved, so divide by 100, which will give us 3.26. Okay, well done if you got all of those right. Thank you for watching that video, and if you enjoyed that, please check out our website for more great online resources. So the address is www.routes2success11plus.uk, or find us on Twitter @routes2success. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more great videos. Thank you.